Okie dokie, so today is leg day and we got first some heavy stuff on the menu as always. But after that, last time I really liked the controlled stuff as well. If you remember, for the hamstrings, I did some controlled reps, 2 sets of 10 afterwards. The burn on that was crazy, so I'm just gonna do that again. And I guess that's kind of the way that the training is supposed to be, right? I mean, you've got these 2 camps in training, like, oh, you have to horse cook all the way, and you have to, or you have to be science-based and slow negative, this and that. And, I'm not gonna play innocent. Sometimes I'm a bit more part of the, hoist everything inside camp, but, no need to be extreme, right? They both have their time and place. And I feel like, if you only do one of them, you're just missing out on gains from the other side. So if you only do horse cooking, well, then you're gonna miss out on that sick burn from the science-based side. You're not gonna be targeting your muscles as well. You're not gonna be able to kill them off, right? But on the other hand, if you only do the light and controlled stuff, how the hell are you gonna be fearing for your life, right? How the hell are you gonna hang on for dear life in one of those crazy movements, right? I mean, sometimes it's just fun to get crushed by some fucking exercise and fight like your life depends on it, right? Those are the times that you really feel that you trained. So yeah, that's it for hamstrings first, and then after that, hamstrings will be kind of a combination of heavy and light. But today, oh boy, on the pistol squats, I'm gonna aim for 54 kilos. And if you recall, that's a fucking PR, right? I have never done 54 kilos on the pistol squat. But on today's menu, it's not just a 1 rep max PR. I'm gonna try and do that shit for 2 reps. So I'm very nervous. I don't know how that's gonna go. But hey, every now and then, feeling nervous for your training, I think it's a good sign, because one, it means that you care about your training, right? You're not gonna be nervous for something you don't care about. And caring about your training means that gains are on the way, right? That means you want to put in the effort. On the other hand, it also means that you're about to attempt something that you have never done before. And holy shit, 54 kilos it sounds kind of scary to me. I mean, I'm sure you've had those moments as well, right? Maybe not that explicitly yet as a beginner, but if you've been training for a while, you will know that sometimes you just attempt something, right? You're trying your first unassisted pistol squat, you're trying your first tuck plunge, you just don't know how it's gonna go. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to attempt it anyway, because oftentimes I feel like people are avoiding the actual thing they're training for, right? So many cases of people trying to get dips with 40, 50 kilos for reps, pull-ups with 20 kilos for reps, before even starting with dips training, right? I mean, that's not needed, but I feel like it's like a safety net we place in our minds, right? Oh, if I can do this, right? If I can do the dips, then the planche will be easy. It's not the case, right? If you're training for something difficult, you're only gonna get it by training that shit directly, no matter how many times you fail. And I myself, again, am guilty of this as well. Sometimes I just start doing random shit past or aside from the actual goal. But hey, is that a bad thing? No, I don't think so, because even if you were like focusing on one exercise is important, of course, but if you're just focused on one goal the entire time, I mean, at some point everyone's gonna plateau, have a bit of a hiccup in progress, and in that case, it can be a good thing to switch up the menu every once in a while, you know, change up the recipe of your cake, do something different, have a bit of a reset, and then when you're fresh and recovered, right, you haven't done the fucking main goal for a while, the main mission, you get back to that. It's kind of like getting back to work after a holiday, right? I mean, at first it's gonna be a bit rusty, but afterwards you feel energy and ready to attack everything. So, I mean, that's kind of it, right? I think I'm just gonna head back home after about 3 kilometers of running, of course, that I still have left. But yeah, after that, first some heavy hoisting on the hamstrings, then some light and control dips for the hamstrings, and then big boy pistol squat PRs. So let's go. All right, so first exercise, Nordic curl holds, as we have been doing lately. I think just about every training. So I'm gonna hook my heels behind this staircase and basically use my hamstrings to keep my body up. And in doing this, I want to keep my body as straight as possible. And even though it's not gonna be perfect, you know, I'm not able to do this with perfect form yet. I'm just gonna try and remind myself, you know, keep it in mind to keep my body as straight as possible. You know, keep in mind, try to imagine the perfect form while doing it. And even if the form is not actually perfect, you know, at least trying to do it is meaningful. So let's do a couple sets here. Last time I did 3 lift-offs, which was a PR, but my holds went from like 8 seconds to 2 seconds. So let's see if we can get at least 4 or 5 seconds. 5 seconds, yeah, today. All right, 2 more sets, and we'll be cooked golden brown. All right, 3 sets of 5 seconds. I think it was kind of okay. Now let's move on to some other sets. I think one set of just Nordic curls. You know, you don't do Nordic curls. You don't become able to do Nordic curls. You have to practice what you want to achieve, right? That's what I mentioned earlier during the run. So one set of that, and then moving on to some accessories or finisher stuff, right? Let's go. Alright. I really have to work on the form, on the bottom position, but I can't complain. How many reps was that? 9 or 10? I don't fucking know. Okay, so that was 10 reps, and of course, like I mentioned, the form is not too bad, but the quantity, or the form is not too good, but the quantity is getting there at least. So making progress in some ways, and we will clean this out later. But for now, in order to do that, I'm gonna do some finishing sets, get a sick burn, science-based stuff, slow negative, you know it. And this will get a real burn in the muscle, and as well as that, it will train my hamstrings in the bottom position. So let's go. One more set. Alright, so I have to do this way more. This is the best burn I've ever felt with this exercise. So, yeah, I mentioned it last time, but this one is definitely a keeper. Let's head inside for some pistol squats. Okie dokie, so my hamstrings feel completely pumped to shit, which is, of course, what I'm aiming for. I mean, the lighting isn't too great here, but there's some meat at the back of my leg right now. So very happy with that. And now I can just move on to pistol squats, get ready for a big PR. The reason I do hamstrings before the pistol squat is because the hamstring is a smaller muscle, I think, than the quadriceps. At least even if I beat the shit out of my hamstrings, it doesn't have as big of an impact on my body as when I beat the shit out of my quadriceps, right? It's less of a whole, like, how do I say it? It's less of a full body exercise than the pistol squat. So the effect it has on the pistol squat is less than the pistol squat on the hamstring exercises, on the Nordic curl. So I do the exercises with the least impact first, so that after that, I can still go on with the horse cocking exercises, the high impact exercises for other muscle groups. It's kind of the same reason that I run first and then train. It's because like running is easy. I'm not tired when I'm done running. So if I were to train first, right, then I'm fucking tired. And if I were to run the same pace that I usually do after my training, I'd be fucking dying. But vice versa, right? Running first at an easy pace and then training, it almost has no effect. So that's kind of, I figure out the order of my exercises in how they will least impact the remainder of the training. But anyway, let's warm up here with 26 kilos it is, I believe. And we are working our way up to 54. Fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Whew. Holy shit, that was... Holy fucking shit. Alright. Oh boy, I'm dizzy. Alright, so normally I do 2 sets that are kinda heavy, but I know for a fact that I'm not able to squat that weight again even once. That took every ounce out of me. And, I've been gradually upping the weight on this everyday squat challenge, right? I kind of feel like with this one, I hit my limit. And it's not a bad limit, right? I mean, my previous PR was 52 kilos. I failed 56. And now I did 54 for 2 reps. That's quite fucking insane in my opinion. I'm quite happy with that. Of course, it would be even better if we hit like 60 kilos or something. Even better if we hit a fucking ton, right? But at some point you're gonna realize, well, you're kind of throwing technique out the window, cheating the reps up, right? That's kind of what I'm doing today. So, or what I did today. So I think it's time, to take the foot off the gas, as they say, go back to a bit of a lower weight, build a base with a bit more reps, like the 5 rep range, because I've been staying at the 2 rep range for quite some time now. I mean, except for these body weight squats, right? But yeah, I think it's time to take a step back, enjoy the big fat PRs, multiple PRs of today, right? And build the base back up. So I'm just gonna continue the remainder of the 30 days. It's not over yet, right? I think there's like 6 days left. Of course, I'm gonna finish them. I'm gonna keep squatting every day, working on my mobility, so on and so forth. But that's probably the limit of how heavy we will go. So yeah, just finishing off with some bodyweight squats here. If you notice, the thing I'm placing my heels on, it's not as high as it usually is, so this is requiring some more mobility. Basically, I think it's a good custom to keep working on mobility after every training, so that's what I'm gonna keep doing. And yeah, that's enough bodyweight squats. I'm gonna do some lunges as well. And that's gonna be it for today's training. So let me do the lunges, sit down and discuss. Alrighty, and just like that, whew. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but my quadriceps enjoyed this training. Whew. So yeah, very happy to be honest. I mean, of course, somewhere in my mind, I wanted to go 58 kilos, 60 kilos in the next trainings, but I don't think it's like meaningful. Like you can see the pistol squat, right? I'm coming up and I'm basically hoisting the weight with my lower back as I do it instead of fully squatting it. So there is periods of going as heavy as possible, periods of keeping it a bit more light and building a base basically, and that's what I'm gonna do. So in the next coming trainings, probably I'll move down back to like 30 kilos, do some controlled squats, more reps. I mean, more reps. Even if I say that, I mean like 5 reps, but controlled reps, it will give me a lot of time and attention. So building the base, building some legs, eating enough food, and coming back stronger. I think 60 kilos will fall relatively soon, but that still means that we have 15 kilos to go. To be honest, when I set the goals of legs, I did not know if I would ever reach them, but so far we've improved like 14 kilos. The PR went from 40 kilos on 1 rep max to 54 kilos on 2 rep max. And yeah, very happy with that, right? 15 kilos improved or something like that, and still 21 kilos to go. So we have our work cut out for us, but aim for the moon, land amongst the stars. We'll see, but I hope to land on the moon anyway, get those 75 kilos and some big boy legs in the process. So that's what is it for today's training. Yeah, really nothing else to mention. I'm a bit flabbergasted, I'll say, from the heavy pistols. When you do this heavy stuff, especially if you do it a long time, right? It kind of wears you down, right? It's difficult to recover from. That's why you kind of cycle the periods, right? You have the heavy periods and you have the back down periods. It's time for a back down period, but nonetheless, very satisfied with this hoisting period. So yeah, again, I'm just going in circles. I'm gonna see you tomorrow for a push day, which might be heavy as well. I've been really loving the heavy planche trainings, but that's something we'll see tomorrow. Now I'm gonna wash myself, have a bit of breakfast actually, because like I woke up at 73.8 kilos. I'm glad that I'm gaining weight, but it's going a bit too fast right now. So I can cut down a bit for a couple of days and see where it brings me. But being over 73 kilos at the moment is very good. I'm gonna, go around and hover around at 73 kilos for a little bit before moving on to 74, because I don't want, this bulk to end. I don't want to be 75 kilos when I'm not even close to a single one of my training goals, right? I want to kind of match it up a bit. I'm gonna take the weight gain slowly, because if I keep this up, I'm gonna be gaining 1.5 to 2 kilos this month, and I want to stay at the pace of a half kilo to a kilo of weight every month, right? Because you gain the weight slowly, and then your body is allowed to adjust. You can learn the skills, right? You won't notice too hard that you are getting heavier when training the skills, but if you gain it like at one time, like very rapidly, then you will notice that your performance in skills is going down as well. So yeah, gotta watch out there a little bit, right? Not eat too much so that I don't become a blob of fat in like a couple of months. But nonetheless, happier to be gaining a little too much weight and a little too less, right? Because if I'm not gaining weight at all, that's also not what I'm aiming for. So yeah, that's a kind of small bulking update. I'll see you tomorrow for a push day.